So here we are. It is Saturday. Sun is going down back in Texas at Aaron's property here. Tomorrow we head out. Lot going on. Just wanted to talk about a few things here. A couple articles. I'm going to share this with you. Got Enrique and Aaron next to me here, and I want to go over these articles. Feel free to comment down below. I was reading wolfstreet.com this afternoon. Sales of existing single-family homes crushed. Supply highest. We're talking inventory, highest level since 2016. Demand of existing homes remain crushed amid highest supply in years. Sales are at the lowest since 1995. Enrique, what's happening in the housing market? Is it going to get better anytime soon?
I really do think that people are having a harder time to be able to secure those loans. And the way things are looking at right now, a lot of people are losing their jobs. So it's becoming more difficult to be able to qualify and to be able to have enough savings as well. Because even though some people have accumulated those savings throughout the years, lately, because of inflation and how expensive everything has become, it's making it harder for people to hold on to that nest egg to be able to use it as a down payment. Not only that, but JB and I have been witnesses of people making mistakes along the way these last couple years, where maybe people get desperate and get into situations that get them into very hard places where it may become harder for them to be able to purchase a property or become a first-time home buyer sometime in the near future. So people, they get desperate. They don't have the patience.
So kind of what you're saying too is a lot of people depleted their savings for other maybe essentials or emergencies that have come up, and now have no savings to put down to buy a home.
Yeah, that can happen, because there's people that sometimes they run into a good couple months or maybe a good couple years where maybe they are able to have a nest egg and their goal is to eventually buy a property. The problem is things could happen along the way, hiccups can happen along the way, or unexpected things can happen. Maybe people end up having to purchase a vehicle because maybe the other one, the transmission blew up, or maybe the miles just got too high, or maybe they started a new family and it put roadblocks throughout the way. Medical expenses too. So those things could hamper people's ability to be able to purchase a property, because most people do not separate the funds that they're going to eventually use to be able to use it for a down payment versus regular emergency funds. They commingle the two. Most people do that. So what happens is once that gets depleted, and then if their job is not paying as well as it was a couple years ago, because right now we're in a situation, we're in a shaky ground, it's getting harder for people to be able to get that nest egg back up and eventually build up enough money to be able to get a down payment for a home.
Aaron, so demand has been crushed. What do you forecast? What do you see? I mean, you're outside one of the hottest housing markets in the country. What was one of the hottest housing markets in the country? A couple of them, San Antonio and Austin. What do you see for the remainder of this year, maybe into 2026?
I think it's going to get way worse from here. I think we're hearing more about foreclosures. We're hearing that these people that had the Airbnbs, they're having to go to long-term rentals. They're having to offload properties because they're not making what they expected to make. People are broke. They can't afford to go on vacations, so those are sitting. People cannot afford houses because inflation. Their pay is not keeping up with inflation, and so they can't. And then also, a lot of people that probably want to buy can't afford it because of interest rates. So it's not going to be good.
So you have high prices, interest rates, people losing jobs, uncertainty, inflation. It is no doubt a very, very mixed bag for sure. Again, so many people will say everything's fine, everything's dandy. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I mean, what we're seeing in the housing market is truly an indication that there is something going on in the U.S. economy, and this does too. Foreclosure filings across the United States rose 13% in July, year over year. People cannot keep up with their mortgage payments. There were 36.1 thousand filings. Enrique, what does this mean?
Well, this means that people are having a harder time to be able to make ends meet. And this goes back to number one, where several years ago, a lot of people beefed up their savings because of all the extra money that was floating around in the economy. And a lot of people paid down a lot of debt. So it seemed like we were back on track where, the average American household had more money put away. But eventually, like I said again, everything's just gotten really overpriced for the average person. Everywhere you go, things are just very expensive. So unfortunately, most people have a hard time to bring down their expenses, or maybe they're tied to certain contracts or obligations in the long term. And so they have to keep up.
Right.
And little by little, it gets to a point where eventually you do run out. And then what do? You're between a rock and a hard place. And unfortunately, a lot of people they don't have the financial education. A lot of people were never taught that. And so that's something that comes with experience. And so it makes it very difficult for you to be able to keep affording your property. Most people don't have the proper knowledge or the proper guidance to be able to keep it up.
Right. So Aaron, you have some data you want to share regarding this. Go ahead. What are the numbers?
So in 1980, first-time home buyer, average age was 29. Now today is 38. That's a huge gap in that time period. And then your average homeowner of today was 31 in 1980, and today it's 56. So that speaks volumes of who's buying these homes, who can afford it. The Gen Z pretty much can't afford homes. And so and I think it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Orange County, California, place I lived at for many, many years. Enrique, you're familiar with it. Let's talk home sales. This was one of the hottest markets. It typically is one of the hottest markets year after year. Sales are down 35% from the peak around 21, 22, down 35%. South Orange County, which is Newport Beach, Laguna, Corona del Mar, your beach cities. Inventory is up 75% year over year. These are typically homes well over $1 million, South Orange County. Inventory up 75% year over year. I don't think I can ever remember seeing these type of figures. Do you?
No. I have several clients that live in Orange County. And I do have one client in particular that I remember several years ago. She spent over 2 years to be able to find a property. They kept getting outbid. And Orange County was a very hot market. And unfortunately, we're getting into a situation now where there are more houses available for people, and the overbidding is starting to go down. And I can tell you this because I have people that I know that are actually looking for property in Orange County, and it's actually not that hard anymore like it was several years ago. So this is another consequence of people's ability to be able to purchase. It's starting to go down.
Well, if you have inventory skyrocketing like this and home sales are down 35%, there's no lack of homes.
No.
Whether you can afford it or not, or willing to pay these prices, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
But I would say we are definitely going to continue to see prices coming down throughout the United States of America.
Oh, it's going to happen. And every sector is different, but little by little, you can see that there's different sectors in the United States that are starting to have more inventory, and home prices are going to be slashed little by little.
If you look at parts of Texas, Florida, you're seeing massive amounts of inventory hitting the market.
We've seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it. Aaron.
So we've seen this before in 08, but my only question is, are these houses really going to get the prices slashed? Because we didn't have the inflation we have today.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I want to say that these are going to get cut in half.
Yeah.
But
if they don't, who's going to buy them?
Yeah.
I mean, we could say, Blackstone's going to buy them, but Blackstone can't buy every house in this country. They're certainly not going to be buying every house in South Orange County, that's for sure. Yeah. But then who's going to rent them at these prices too? If you buy a home at these inflated prices, then you're paying inflated rents. It just doesn't, the math just doesn't work out.
Right. So I want to say that these houses are going to get slashed big time, but if inflation kicks up even more, how much is it really going to kick up? We're somewhere we have never been before.
But could we see inflation and deflation take place at the same time, where we see certain assets go up,
Absolutely,
and certain assets like maybe real estate go down, because we're seeing commercial real estate get absolutely destroyed, which nobody's talking about.
Right. Yeah. I want to say it's going to get cut, but I don't know. We're somewhere where we've never been, so time will tell. But I think it is going to get ugly.
Now, with everything that's happening, football season's coming around the corner, and I despise many of these organizations because of how they treated the American people years ago. You know what I'm talking about. They have absolutely no respect for you. Completely overpriced. They rip you off, then they slap you in the face and they laugh. But yet people still go to football games, still watch this stuff. The hedge today, the cost of attending an NFL game has risen 40% in the last 10 years, $158 per person to attend a game in 2024. That will be even higher this year. Would you spend $158 to attend a football game? Me personally, I've said this a million times. I will never give an organization like the NFL 1 minute of my time or 1 penny of my money. The way they treated law enforcement, the military, the American people, F them. You have better places to spend your time and money. That's my opinion. But yet people who are broke will somehow find the money to attend a game while they have absolutely no money. They'll do buy now, pay later. They'll do it on a credit card. They will do whatever they have to do. They'll know every player, the number, the name, the stats, everything. Yet they have no idea what's happening to their pensions, what an ounce of gold costs, a barrel of oil, an ounce of silver, how much debt there is, nothing. They just want to go to a football game. Is this a smart move right now when you're broke?
Oh, no. If you're broke, you should not be doing these things. And, you know, one of the biggest outrages that a lot of people are actually on social media complaining about is the amount of fees that these third-party companies like Ticketmaster or these other companies are charging. Some of these events, these guys are really bold. They're actually charging probably half of that fee. So if your football ticket is $158, maybe Ticketmaster will charge you $40, $50, $60 just to be able to purchase that ticket on their website. So these fees are getting ridiculous, and yet people are voting with their money. If these places continue to get sold out, then all of these companies realize that people are willing to spend it. So what do they do the following year, the following event? Jack it up. And they try to test people's willingness to be able to spend that. And you can see that in all of these concerts that people attend, all of these NFL games, all of these different events. If they see that they can get away with it, they will continue to push it down people's throats, and people will continue to buy it.
Absolutely.
People vote with their money. If they see that everything starts dropping and that attendance drops, they will modify it because they do not want to lose out.
Right. $25 for parking, $12 for a hot dog, $10, $15 for a beer. Would you pay this?
Absolutely not.
You're in law enforcement. How do you feel about this? You knew what they were doing a few years ago. The outlash they had to law enforcement, the military, the American people. Your thoughts on people spending money supporting these type of organizations? Look, I don't hold it against anybody. I'm not gonna not be a friend with somebody or not talk to somebody because they go to a football game. But man, I think we have to be careful where we're spending our money.
Well, Americans are spoiled. I've been to third world countries. I've seen how people have to live. And these people that are not proud of this country, that are, kneeling for the flag and all that, they don't appreciate, what sacrifices has been done.
Sacrifices you made.
Right. For them to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting. But you couldn't pay me to go to a football game. Yeah. I couldn't even name one NFL football player today. Because I couldn't care less. I got better things to do with my time than,
our country's in big trouble. I think, yes, we have much more important things to worry about than a football game. But look, I get it. There's nothing wrong with having some balance in your life. I understand that. But next thing I want to talk about here, I was reading this also today. To afford Seattle rent, you need to earn $91,000 per year just to afford rent in Seattle. How long is this going to be sustainable for? Or are we reaching a point now, a breaking point?
Well, the breaking point all depends on the people that are actually living there and whether or not the employers can continue to pay the employees or the people who are self-employed continue to pay those payments. And this could get very ugly There's other countries where it actually makes a lot more sense to be able to rent than to buy. But the United States right now, it's kind of in a crossroads where the decisions that we make today, that the government makes today, could affect future generations, whether or not they could continue to afford these prices. So it could get out of control.
Yeah. Half the country doesn't have $500 saved up, and you need $91,000 just to rent in a city like Seattle. And it's happening in places like this in San Antonio, Austin. It's happening all over California, Orange County, Los Angeles. You're renting a dump for $2,500. You're going to need at least $3,000, $3,500 to rent something newer in a nicer area, 2-bedroom. I mean, we're looking at the wages in this country. This just doesn't add up. How much longer, can people continue to do this? We know half the country doesn't have $500. Many people are a flat tire away from the danger zone.
I think we're at the end of this, but we've been talking about this for years. So every time I think that this is just going to fall apart, but what it's going to take is it's going to be a major crash in the stock market, bond market, or real estate market, and that's going to be it. So it's just, I think we're just at the top of that roller coaster, and we just need a crest, and then it's going to be all downhill from there.
Redfin, 44% of American workers delaying or canceling a major purchase like a home or car due to feelings about job security. Should the average American right now be concerned about job security? Should they be worried that maybe Monday they don't have a job, or next week or next month? Is this a real concern now for most Americans?
Oh, it is. And you can tell just by looking at the different things online. You could see that the trend is going towards people getting laid off. Several years ago, it was the opposite, where people had the leverage. They were able to ask for more money, and they were able to do certain things to be able to get the employer's attention. Now it's the opposite, where people are at the employer's mercy.
Yeah, it switched.
And any time, people could get laid off. And what do they say? That if you're going to lay off someone, lay them off on a Monday, so that they have the entire week to get the ball rolling again, versus if you lay them off on a Friday, they start talking to family, they start talking to friends, they have time to go open up the unemployment and so forth. So if you're going to lay off someone, do it on a Monday.
Should people have a plan at this point? Maybe a married couple, a spouse. If one of them gets laid off, it's big trouble. But should people have an emergency plan now for a layoff? Because this seems very prominent now. Every week we're seeing mass layoffs in corporate America. I'm sure many small businesses are laying off. It just seems like there's not a whole lot of fat left on the bone. Companies are leaning out, they're cutting the fat, and they're taking the bone with them.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing to do right now, and I know it's definitely easier said than done, but try and get your bills down to where one income can cover that. You want the 6 months if you can do that. And I mean, I don't see, if you don't have it now, you're definitely behind the power curve. AI is going to keep taking jobs, and this is going to be a snowball effect. So, with the housing market, if they're not building houses, all those people are out of a job. And then they're not spending money on goods and services. And so it's all going to get worse and keep snowballing as people lose jobs. That's going to cause other people to lose jobs that are in other sectors. And it's going to get ugly.
And so much of this country is connected to real estate. I don't think we can really even comprehend how much of this economy, how many jobs are connected to real estate. We're not talking about real estate agents and brokers and real estate attorneys. We're talking about landscapers, pool guys. We're talking about, the people that put the streets down, the cement companies, the people that pound the nails, the lumber companies, the truck drivers, the graders, all that. There's just so much. And then all the companies that sell the siding, the bricks, the insulation, the plumbing, all that stuff. It just goes on and on and on. We are talking, this is the biggest part of the economy that we have. Only 28% of U.S. homes are now affordable, according to Fox Business, for the typical American. Households are buying fewer and fewer homes. And this is going to have a big effect on the U.S. economy because so many jobs are connected to it. And if fewer people can buy a home, that means fewer people are working in the industry. You can go from, again, the agents to the brokers all the way down to the landscaper. Somebody's going to get hurt here.
Oh, there's so many jobs. I would say the majority of people that I talk to, that I actually prepare their taxes, one way or another, their employment is tied to the housing economy.
Yeah.
And so if that completely gets shattered somehow, there's going to be a lot of hurt people.
And let's not forget, people in financing, the
Oh,
banks,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
are really tied to this.
Yeah.
And how many banks have cut their finance departments, a lot less lenders, and at some point AI will probably take that too.
Oh, yeah.
But Aaron, your thoughts on how disruptive the housing market crisis collapse is going to be to the U.S. economy as far as jobs, et cetera?
Yeah, so, well, what I was talking about, so you've got all these framers and plumbers and all that. They won't be building these houses. And then also, you know, what do people do? They cut all the extras. So if they have a pool boy, they're going to fire the pool boy. Landscaper. If, you know, projects with the house, like, hey, we want to redo a bathroom. We're not going to do that. We're going to have to wait. So then that's less for Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. And then they have to let off people. So it's, the real estate market is going to affect every market, you know, and
everything's tied to it.
Right. So then, you know, they can't afford to go on vacation. So people in the service sector are going to be hurt. So all the non-essentials, people are going to start cutting that out. We were even talking about Enrique and his haircut. You know, people, you know, people will start cutting that out or wait longer. Maybe only get one cut a month versus every other week. So people are going to start tightening their belts, and other sectors are going to suffer.
Yep. It will all follow. Very, very good points. If you want to add something to this, please do leave a comment down below. It's been an absolutely incredible trip. Aaron will be flying out in probably about 3 to 4 weeks. We'll be loading up the pods. That'll be heading back out to the house in Alabama. Then we're heading back out. I got to bring the dogs, the tortoises, bunch of stuff out. So we'll be driving all the way back. So it's just never ending. But it's been a blast. It's been fun. If you have the ability, the time and the means, I highly advise to get in the car and take a drive and go through some of the beautiful parts of the United States and see what's going on. You know, we talked to a few people. We had some great food. We saw some great towns. We saw some, you know, we saw a great deal of poverty across the United States of America, and we saw a lot of wealth across the United States of America. So, you know, if you get a chance, take a few days and just jump in the car and travel. It's a real eye-opener. But I'm going to leave it there today. Please like, share, and subscribe. God bless every one of you. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, look forward to talking to each and every one of you. Take care.